All right, everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk About Lego this Monday night. We are coming at you with another episode. As always, you're going to be watching me, Jason with the Brickstop, and Andrew with Brick Monarch as we continue to single-handedly delve into the lore of Lego. We will start talking.
Hey, man.
Hello.
Good.
How you doing, man? Why don't you tell our fine viewers what we'll be talking about today?
The Fellowship. Getting back into the castle grind.
So, yeah. So I was talking to you the other day. And we're like, hey, what do we want to talk about? I knew you had your big castle and your awesome new background you wanted to display. I threw this in there to kind of weekly compete with that. And then I was like, well, do we have another castle theme? And we've kind of covered most of them, or at least the ones we wanted to, right? So we're like, Lord of the Rings, man, that's kind of a castle theme. It's fantasy. And so I'm excited. And we're going to be clear, we're just talking about Fellowship of the Ring and the Lego sets that were produced for the Fellowship of the Ring for kind of a part one. And there are 8. Okay, cool. I didn't actually count them. Yeah, we already got someone mentioning the Royal Knights.
Royal Knights are fire, man.
Box back there.
It is. I've got all the Royal Knights from that castle sitting right over here on the shelf. I don't know why. They're just out,
dude. Royal Knights is just even if they're just sitting there, man, they're just nice to look at. You don't ever want to put them away.
I don't want to hide them. Not at all.
Hey, Barry joined. I talked to him earlier today. Barry? He was going to try and make it, so I'm happy you're on here, man. Fooling with Bricks. Thanks for joining in. Marty, the Lego Party, says, can do Ninjago temples sometime. I love some of what Ninjago did. I don't know, Andrew. Are you much of a Ninjago fan or not so much? No. So we got a non-Ninjago fan down here.
It's because they started putting the ninja stuff and calling it castle. So forever from that day forward, I was done with the ninjas.
We kind of lost Castle to Ninjago. A lot of themes fell under the sword of Ninjago. It's really true. And so he says just the temples. I will say there's some fantastic temples in Ninjago.
Yeah, I never said there weren't some great sets. Yeah. Right. But, that's one of those, it's one of those gateway drug things, man. It's like if you buy one, you're like, well, I've got this one. And as a collector mindset, you got to keep buying them. And I don't have the space or the time or the brain power to even take that on as like a primary, part of my collection. Yeah.
I'm with you. I picked and choosed a little bit off of that one because I was running on the nostalgia of some of the stuff they put in it, but I was never a huge fan of Ninjago as a theme itself, though I think they did a very good job in what they did do, but we have a beef with it still. But let's talk about Lord of the Rings.
So
Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring.
You want to start with some of the sets, or you have some opening comments, or what? What are your thoughts, Jason?
I mean, it's the movie that defined a century. This is probably one of the best movies that Hollywood has ever produced. It does seem like that. It's the guy. It's Tolkien himself. He's the guy that basically defined modern fantasy, the genre itself. I mean, everything written after Tolkien is basically copying Tolkien. And so we have that. So I mean, we got to pay tribute and homage to the man.
Did you watch
himself.
Did you watch that movie?
But
Tolkien? It was very good.
Wasn't that good?
Very good movie, and it kind of drew me into like even further more of like the Lord of the Rings stuff. I was just it's hard not to be captivated by it.
Yeah. It was very fascinating, and it was way better made than I thought it was going to be. Like, it's a top-notch piece of filming or photography, whatever you call it, cinema. That's the word I was looking for. For anyone who's interested in learning more about Tolkien, the author of Lord of the Rings, who then the movies are based on, and then the Lego sets are based on that. There is a movie called, is it just called Tolkien?
Yeah. Very good.
And it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I wish that they had the Balrog in the series as well.
Yeah, so I guess, so those were like thoughts that I had sort of halfway in. We could talk about that, but we could, I mean, yeah, this theme has some insanely amazing ththings that happen for it and some heartbreaking things that happened in it as well. So we'll get into that too. But yeah, I'm with them there with the lack of the Balrog as well as many other things. So Tolkien was a genius, True North Bricks, and then I need to watch the Tolkien movie again, Lord of the Sherbrick Forest Lice. I like that. Got a little Robin Hood reference there. Wish I had the Balrog in the series. Yeah, you already went over that. Let's talk about the sets. Let's get into the sets, and then we'll kind of talk more about Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, get whatever we want in there. So, yeah, let's do the little tiny. These are the polybags,
so
right?
There was Elrond, and you could get Frodo, and they were polybags. So there's the Elrond.
Yeah. So that's a limited edition Elrond in battle armor with an elven sword, and then the Frodo. What was that? Frodo with the cooking corner. So I never got the Frodo. I did get my hands on an Elrond because I did do the pre-order for the video game, which I believe was the only way to get a hold of it.
Video game exclusive.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to get my hands on one of those, but I didn't end up getting the Frodo one. So both great little sets. Not much to say about them.
They're cute. I mean, because we know it's Frodo, and the cooking, the little stove, and the little barrel, and everything classic. It's you have to buy it.
Yeah, it's a good. If I had seen it, I would have got it. I just never ran across it in the store. So. Yeah, I mean it's classic. It's like here's a Hobbit and here's a bunch of food.
And that's cool, man. I mean because all those little accessories in there are super great.
Yeah, does it come with like a little pan and some sausages or something, right?
Bottle, a cup and a barrel with a little tap in it, like from it's like almost got the same build as the build in the Knight's Challenge, which we were talking about earlier. With the little barrel.
Oh, sure. Yeah, out. Just the little. I love that. That's a classic, and I'm happy they included that in Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Lego Den says, "Hey." I say, "Hey, back. Welcome." We're talking about Return of the Fellowship of the Ring, the first movie, first book.
Yeah. So I guess the next setup is Gandalf Arrives.
Yeah. We got Gandalf Arrives. Now, luckily, I do have the boxes for some of these. So, yes.
Love
that. Here's Gandalf Arrives. You gotta love the fireworks they loaded in the back of the wagon there.
It's wonderful. You know, I actually, like maybe 2 years before these were released, I had the first images that like still had like the confidential bar across them. And they were slightly different.
Yeah.
But they're still cool images nonetheless. I mean, it was enough to like say, man, Lord of the Rings is coming.
Well, and let's talk about that for a second. I mean, I was a kid reading Lord of the Rings before the movies even came out, and that was the first thought. My brain instantly from reading those books went to Lego, and I'm like, Lego's never going to do this, but like, how cool would it be if they did? And then the movies, and then the fact that The Hobbit actually gave us the Lord of the Rings Lego sets because they piggybacked off the new series, The Hobbit, coming out. In 20?
Yeah,
I guess it was around 2012, I think, because that's when this.
Yeah, because they were out already, and it was like I said, Crystal and I's second date. I took her to Toys R Us. I was like, we're looking at Legos, and I bought the Hobbit,
I remember you mentioned that.
The bag end Hobbit hole set from from the Hobbit series of the Lego sets. So in 2014.
Yeah. So that was, we got Mustache Brandon talking about the barrels. He likes to say that which is true, the bung hole was the term for the hole on the barrel there. Let's see. A great little set. Yes, it is. The wagon. Yeah. So we're talking about. So of course you get the references. I mean, all of these are based on the movie. There are some hidden Easter eggs later on that were from the book that they actually worked into some of the sets we'll talk about in part 2. Because I want to bring that up, but we're not going to talk about that really today. Most of the sets are based on the movie, and I just really, again, going back, this is a reference to the party when Bilbo his 111th birthday, when they do the hobbits get a hold of the fireworks and shoot them up into the sky there. So you get that little reference there, a nice little nod. Barry says, or Fooling with Brick says, I'm surprised they never made more Lord of the Rings sets. Well, that's a whole nother topic we'll probably get into a little later. But yeah, I'm less surprised and just more disappointed.
Yeah, especially with how many like Avengers sets that have come out. Harry Potter.
I mean, there's even well, and then of course Star Wars, right?
Whatever.
Yeah. But we'll talk a little bit more about what's lacking and some of the problems we had with the theme as we get on in this. But
let's see.
Yeah.
Next set that I have on here is the Council of Elrond.
Oh, cool. Are we doing Wizard Battle?
It is.
Is that one Fellowship? Because they did. Okay. Because that's a small one, but I can pull up the box for the Council of Elrond. This is a really beautiful set. Just kind of missing some figures because it only comes with a few.
This set is phenomenal. I love this set.
It's so nice.
Like deep in my heart because of the colors used. It was a new type of thing. I want to say they mixed in like the olive green 1x1 slopes on the roof. And then you had a lot of the dark tan, and then you had the dark orange leaves. And I was like, dude, how do you get... At this point, I didn't even know Bricklink existed. Right. Because I had been away from the Lego game for so long. But, I mean, just overall, just like the color scheme was just so nice.
I want to get a close-up of the minifigs if I can. Also, look at, like, let's just appreciate, if you can see that, the detail on Arwen here and Elrond. I mean, they're highly produced. Every single figure was printed. Most of the legs were printed on all of the figures. Like, they really, for what they created, even though it wasn't as many as there she is. Yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah,
that's such a nice minifig. Does she have silver like stuff, ribbons worked into that?
No, not on her hair.
On her hair?
On her dress, yes, silver.
Okay. Oh, got it. Yeah. Elrond has the silver, like crown in his hair.
Big giant bag right here.
This
is all the Lord of the Rings.
You got all the minifigs. There they are. I have a bag just like that. I need to go put mine all back together.
By far, though, this is my favorite elf minifig. Yeah.
Oh, is that from The Hobbit?
Brendel.
Oh, I forget his name. What's his name? Brandrel, yeah.
He's a cocky elf.
That's a nice minifig. He's
dude,
kind of an asshole.
I like him a lot.
Fooling with Brick says GOT, Game of Thrones, should have taken over sets if they could have got the license for that. I mean, you would have had similar sets probably looking really nice with those color schemes and stuff like that. Obviously, the content matter would never have been taken up by Lego. I did find it funny that Mega Constructs actually got a hold of it and did some quite extensive, large building kits for Game of Thrones because they don't care, which I think is kind of great that they're out there, even if you're not a fan of Mega Constructs. Sure. Let's see. The figs are so sweet. Yes, they are nice prints. Shame they are not yellow. I agree. I don't like the fleshies.
Man. The minifig prints in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit series are through the roof. As far as like style and color and print and design and everything. The only shame is like you got to take them all apart and put yellow hands in there and change out the heads. And when you start doing that, that's when you start cracking arms and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and some of them just don't work. Some of the necklines are lower, so you see the flesh color, or like elf ears. That's the one that really gets you. You can't get those elf ears in yellow, really, except for like
there was the one
mold.
CMF that came out.
Well, I think there was a second one with a female.
Yeah,
she's like a female
really,
elf warrior.
Really elf, was it? I think it was just a woodsman, woods lady or something like that.
I thought, no, because she has like a unicorn on her shield, and she got like bare arms with like silver prints on top for armor pieces. She looks a little bit like this. I think she has a similar color, like the blue dress, kind of a little light blue dress. Anyway, getting a little sidetracked on that, but yeah, that's the biggest issue.
We got to talk about the minifigs and the fleshies.
Let's talk about it. Talk about Lego. Yeah. Yellow is king, says Duck Bricks. I agree. Or Duck's Bricks. Yeah, I agree. Obviously, they were never going to do Lord of the Rings with yellow because it's a licensed product, and they just have only done fleshies with licensed products because for all their reasons. But yeah, agreed. The only thing that maybe could have made the figures better is yellow hands and heads.
Otherwise, all the Lord of the Rings prints stay in the bag. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So moving on. You want to jump onto the wizard battle and how weak it is as a set?
Yeah. Let's take a look at it and we'll see. I mean, so I think here's how this set could have been phenomenal. And if they had left an area maybe in the bottom of the big CMF, or not CMF, the UCS like Tower of Orthanc set that comes later, where this could have slid into, you're done. Yeah. Like, this is a great set now. But since that doesn't really work, like, you can kind of build it in, take it apart, put it in, but it doesn't fit into that tower set. So this is a standalone set for the most part. And I mean, besides the minifigs and the Palantir with Sauron's eye in it, the set itself is just kind of a platform with a little chair in the background.
Let's be honest, on the box, the front of the box sells it. Okay. Yeah. The image with the blue tones in the background and all that, you're like, done. I'm buying it. But when you look at the set against the plain white background, it's so boring.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like how you could stick Gandalf on like the turning thing and spin him around by the Palantir, and he does the spin on the floor. That's pretty great function, but it's not like the most incredible set for $12.99.
But I'll be honest. I've got
I have all the
4 or 5 of these. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, the little Sauron battle ones?
I was like, well, you can never have too many Gandalfs, right?
Yeah, well, and I mean, the Palantir, is inside, and it comes with 2 of the trans yellow globes, that were originally launched in Fright Night. So you get 3 of those. No, the parts aren't terrible.
The parts are good.
They're decent parts. 113 parts. I will say, they did do new molds for some stuff. But one thing they didn't do was a Gandalf staff. I can't say that's the greatest Gandalf staff I've ever seen. So, that's but I see where they were trying to spread their budget out to create what they could, and they did do some really nice molds, and I'm happy we got those instead of.
Let's see. I mean, I'm not trying to name drop here, but the Brick Warriors, the guy that makes the parts, I mean, he does a lot of parts, and they're all in single color, right? They could have done a really cool Gandalf staff in a one mold, no printing. It could have just looked like a wooden shaft with that little twist thing at the top. It's all they would have had to do.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, and here's how you can update your Gandalf with a Brick Warriors pipe, because they wouldn't have put the pipes in Lego because it's too not child friendly, the smoking aspect of it. But so you see these little guys with their pipes. So I don't know if you guys have seen any of these. But they are a third party that does the hat and the pipe like that. Again, not to plug them, but why not, I guess. I will say their quality is right there on par with Lego.
First, and I ordered some parts. Yeah. I've gotten maybe 2 or 3 orders from the guy. Various weapons and stuff.
Yeah, I say here. They actually ship. They ship pretty fast too, I've noticed. Like,
Bricklink is definitely
it's not like
faster.
Yeah, it's not like a brick. I think I got totally Like, I don't know, because I'm so used to bricks and pieces orders taking
Don't
5
even
weeks
get
that
me
I'm like,
on that.
it came.
I was actually on the phone with customer service today. Yeah.
Yeah, still waiting for
I was
some
like,
parts
look,
to come
I'm in the middle of a project.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but I need my parts.
Yeah. Get some more people in that warehouse, my friend. Let's see. So, Lord of Sheer Brick Forest says, my dad, who is a big Tolkien fan, actually picked up the Wizard Battle. Nice. That's awesome. Picked you up or just picked it up for him? That's still awesome. Let's see. The box art for Lord of the Rings. Something else says Fooling with Bricks. It just does sell the weaker sets for sure. Yeah, they still do that. I mean, some terrible sets, even in like Jurassic World, Star Wars, they make really nice box art and people are like, yeah, I need it. I'm like, the set's not that good. But speaking of minifigs, Gandalf came in everything. I think I have like 7 of him. I think the only one that might have come in more is Gimli. I have so many Gimlis, and that's an issue I was going to talk about a little later. We got to talk about that. Yeah, Gimli's just like, I'm bleeding out my ears.
What was that? What was that thing that they did there for a little bit where they put like the little electric disc in it and like you'd put it on and you'd like, it was like Dimensions or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah, Lego Dimensions.
Yeah,
where you would, like,
Gimli and Legolas was one of the Dimensions, right? Well, the Toys R Us had those things marked down at one point to like $3.99 each. So I went and like hoarded as many of them as I could.
Well, because if nothing else, you got those dwarf helmets, and that's a beautiful Lego helmet.
Let me see if I can find one right here.
Yeah, I mean, I can get you a picture of the one on the box here. It doesn't quite do it justice. If you can pull it up, but it's like a 3-tone. It's got the silver paint. It's all like it's got.
Yeah, look at this thing.
It's got dwarf. It's gonna have like dwarf runes. Yeah, try and put your hand behind it. Maybe it'll lessen the blur a little bit, kind of. But yeah, you can kind of see the detail. It's all printed with like
all
dwarf runes and like curly cues on it and everything. Yeah, it's an amazing helmet.
Great.
So,
and I love that it fits over all the beards.
Yes, it's cut off.
I was just thinking about this. You know the gold crown from the Royal Knights? I was thinking about taking a Dremel to one and like bringing it up just a touch so I could show a big beard under that crown.
Make it, that would look pretty cool. Yeah, we got a brickature says a dwarf army build. Yep. Yeah, I mean, and I could guarantee you if you were getting those whole little kits for the $3 or so, I mean, those helmets probably cost at least $3 on Bricklink now a piece. So yeah, you were getting a good, definitely worth scooping them up when you saw them, for sure.
Like a whole bunch.
Someone says, what did that retail for? I'm not sure what which one. This one was $30. That one was $30. The Wizard Battle was $12. I think.
It went on sale at Toys R Us there at one point for like $9.99. That was the lowest I saw it.
And this one's $12.99 as well. I still have all the stickers from the Lego store where I got them. Yeah, I probably put those stickers on them, to be honest. So those are those. I can share the prices too.
Well, that's good. Because I'm not obviously at my desk.
Oh, right. Yeah. All right, so moving on. Yeah, lots to talk about, and there's so many cool things. But yeah, let's keep moving along the series of sets here.
Yeah, I guess
we just went over Wizard Battle.
I guess since we're talking about the Wizard Battle, we should just jump into the Orc Forge.
Yes, which I was at first. I think I told you this. I was a little surprised it was considered a Fellowship of the Ring set, because it has some pretty heavy Two Towers stuff going on with it as well. But this is
still a really good set. Again, the box art is through the roof in, design and layout, and just an amazing box. Like, you had to have it.
Yeah, and then the minifigs, if I can get them without the glare, you can kind of see. And this is that guy they were digging up out of the slime, I believe. And then got 2 little Mordor orcs and then a Moria orc. Not a Moria orc. Tower of Orthanc orc. I guess actually it's a Yorkai actually. Well, and here's the thing that's the killer on this one that sells it completely. It is one of 2 sets to come with the hand printed on the shields and the helmets. The only other set that you can get that shield and hand in is the like $250 Tower of Orthanc, which is now probably $500.
I've seen them for $700 and $800.
Sure. I could definitely see that going for probably even $1,000. I've seen some sealed stuff going for crazy prices.
Is the one I don't have.
It's such a cool set, man. And I would not have been able to pick it up unless I was working at Lego at the time these came out and I had like the employee discount.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just wouldn't have been able
phenomenal
to get
set.
it.
I mean, I've seen it.
Too expensive.
I was gonna buy one used from somebody, and then they were like, "No, we already sold it." And I'm like, "Well, okay."
If you can find one for a decent price, it is absolutely
I think it was
worth
listed
picking
at like
up.
maybe like $300 without the instructions or box.
Sure. That's
I mean
that's about as good as you're gonna get. Yeah. 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 So Orc Forge was great. It was really cool. It had a little system. You could bring the little silver pellets up into here, and then it would drop them down into a forge with a light brick that would light up. And then they had like an area where they were just like in the movie where they were slamming out those like really chunky pieces of swords and armor and smacking them onto those urukai. The I guess in the movie they call them, what were they? The goblin, half orcs, but in the book they were actually half human, half orc, which makes them even more sinister and disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
breeding with humans. Yeah, not cool. Well, but that makes it that in the book it makes more sense though, because the whole thing about them was they could run during the day and the sunlight didn't mess with them, and that's because they had the human blood.
Yeah.
Because orcs hated the sun. But these guys would run through the daytime because they had human ability. It was pretty messed up. But yeah, in the movie they tone it down a little and say it was goblins, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Orc Forge,
in all of Tolkien stuff, the goblins, the orcs, and the trolls, none of them like sunlight.
Yeah, except for Sauron's
the
unholy half-breeds. The Urukai army, the Urukai army. Those were the ones. So yeah, this is a great set. One of my favorite sets. It's crazy expensive now online. I wish I had picked up more of these when I could. It was only $40, $39.99 when it came out, and it's chock full of armor. I mean, you get 2 full sets and then another full set without the handprints on the guy here. It's got it's a great set.
Love that little set. It's one of my favorites.
Can't say
definitely.
Enough good things about that one.
Moving on to the worst set of the Fellowship is the attack on Weathertop.
So this is such a weird set to me, and I think what makes it the worst for me is not so much the design, though it is not great, but it was the price, dude. If it had been like a $40 or $50 set, I'd be like, it's not that good, but whatever. The price on this thing, look at this thing. Okay. It was $59.99. It was $60. And it was just weird.
Yeah, what's the piece count on that?
You got this.
Jason?
So it's 430 pieces for $60. It's very high. And I think the reason is you get the 2 horse molds that are specially printed. I don't know if you can see it, but they have the red eyes, and like that's pretty awesome. It's the only set. Note that it's the only set to come with the Black Riders, the Nazgul here. You don't get them on any other Lord of the Rings set.
They did. They have like a chest print, and that's it. Everything else is just blacked out. Yeah. So they have special cloth capes. They're probably similar to the Necromancer's cape. Like I think it's the same cut. Yeah, I think so.
Is it? Because these are pretty wild. It's got 3 holes in the neck and everything, and because it makes the cloak go all the way like around them.
Yeah, with the holes and it's like the tattered, and it goes all the way around the front. I think it's this mold, cut. It's just in black.
So that. Side note, that the only way to get a hold of that guy was from The Hobbit, right? The Hobbit. But you'd want him, if you own this set, you'd want that figure to put up here. Because that's how Frodo sees him when he has the ring on. Yeah. So that's the set. I think the dumbest thing in this whole set, and I don't know if it shows it here, but there's flick fire missiles on this thing. Let me see if I can find them. Right here, dude. Right there. And it's 2 little brown pips on the back, like 2 rocks that you flick out of the side of the wall. Like
they were going to throw rocks at them.
I mean, sure, I guess they just wanted to add a play feature because there's nothing else going on with this set.
It's like it's
a staircase.
It's so small in comparison to what Weathertop actually was. I mean,
yeah,
I would have.
It doesn't even have.
I would have rather this set been like a plate, at least one of the green plates, right, in size, and just flat. Just like you were right there on the top with the columns that were going up around it and, that kind of thing. That would have been so much better.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Brick Boy Magic, welcome. I agree, Andrew. The set size, even with the part, I mean, it's a low part count, but even adding another, putting it up to, 500 pieces and spreading it out a little bit more, giving more space up top so that you can have that kind of iconic scene where the riders come up over the hill.
Yeah.
It's really, look, I mean, there's only 2 main figures up here.
It is.
And it's just cramped already.
There was like what, like 6 or 7 of the Nazgul?
Yeah, because they weren't all there quite yet, but there was most of them. I think there was five of them. In the movie, I think there were 5. I can't remember how many came in the book. Yeah, but I mean,
only getting 2, like you can't,
because they hadn't
even
quite all
recreate
joined
the
up.
scene like in play with what you get.
Right. Well, right, because you only get 2, and then they never released another, which here's where, I mean, and we can get it, I would like to talk about this a little bit more in depth, but here's where I think we lose out as Lord of the Rings fans, Lego fans, is I do believe they did intend to continue this line longer because of how you see weird things like this where you would eventually think that you would be able to collect all 9 if you got, like, say, the Buckleberry Ferry set with another 2 riders, and then the inn with 2 more, and so you get the inn, the Weathertop, Buckleberry Fair, you get 6 of them there, and then maybe 1 more at the end, maybe the Witch King on like the Fell Beast or something, and you can collect all 9. They never did that. That's not there at all.
You could have even done one of the Nazgul on the what was the dragon? It was like the dragon thing when Frodo
the Fell Beast.
Frodo and Sam were in like the wastelands. March. Mm-hmm.
Or you could have done the final 9th one, doing a little tree with the 4 hobbits hiding under the tree, and have the rider up on top as a final set where you could get the 9th rider as maybe a $15 set, like get off the road scene, right?
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like they really had a direction they were going with this first wave, and then it just. Wave 2 was cut off, done, and they never went back. So I don't know what happened, but we can talk a little bit more about that. But so that's the Weathertop set. I also, when I built this, when I bought it, there's this thing in the middle, and I never figured out what that was representing. It's like a little altar, kind of. It's like a black wheel thing with 4 of those pegs.
All they showed was the characters was on top of Weathertop.
Yeah. I like the rat.
That's always cool to have a little rat in there.
The rat's cool. I have so many of those. But yeah, I mean, not the best set. It is a must-have for Lord of the Rings fans. If you want a Nazgul, you get 2 in here, and that's it. And that's the only way to get a hold of them is, well, obviously Bricklink or buying this set. So
you had
to have it if you wanted this series.
Aragorn carrying Frodo across the river, that little river scene where like 5 or 6 Nazgul was on the other side.
Oh, Arwen, daughter of Elrond?
Yeah.
Yeah, in her battle armor.
That would have been awesome.
How cool would that be, man? Maybe have 2 or 3. You know how they do the Patronuses from Harry Potter? Have 2 horses in the water that you could like do a little crank and they go like this.
That'd be cool.
And they're like trans horses.
Yeah, man.
Trans blue horses. Dude. What are we doing? We got to redesign Lord of the
machine,
Rings
bro.
next. Yeah, we need a few pieces of equipment. We'll get on it. And the license for, what, $300 million or something like that? No worries. Or at least if you're making movies based on it. Let's see. So we got a couple comments here. We've been ignoring it. Have you guys talked about brittleness of the sets yet? I didn't notice much in these Lord of the Rings sets as far as brittle plastic or anything like that, except for just how it's standardly on the dark red and brown, like the reddish brown. Always. It's always been that way. So that's pretty standard across the board. Yeah, there's a lot of dark brown.
Those were the years.
Reddish
those were
brown
the years they were kind of brittle. I do agree. I know that because a lot of my collection comes from Lord of the Rings sets, like buying multiples. And I was putting together the doors. It was either the doors or it was the doors for my castle back here. And I literally pulled off a 1x4 tile, and it pulled a stud off the brown plate underneath, just like plumb pulled it right off. And I was like, here, I handed it to Crystal. She just flipped the stud out, and I just put it right back on there. I covered it up.
When those crack, though, dude, it makes the back of my spine tingle. It's just a nasty.
I was like, I know
it's nasty.
I
hate it so.
These doors, one of them's gonna break, and I had a stud come off.
Yeah. Well, at least it was just a stud. We got Chaz609 bought that new at Walmart. I assume he's talking about Weathertop. Someone had taken the figures out and glued the box back. Ooh. So you got it, and there were no figures in it. That's horrible. Did you return it and tell them? I guess that'd be kind of. They would have thought maybe, that's a tricky one because they're right.
Another one.
You just did it. And then Lord of the Sherwood Forest says he bought that about the Weathertop one for the figures mostly. Yeah, I mean that's probably, I would say there might be one other Lord of the Rings set I feel the same way about as Weathertop, where it is kind of a figure grab, which they do with Star Wars, kind of Harry Potter, and definitely superheroes all day long. That's all the sets are, is the figures now. But I think Lord of the Rings maintained good sets as well as phenomenal figures almost across the board, except for one or two exceptions. This being, let me think about the Hobbit sets. Yeah, I would, dude, the Hobbit, we got to get into the Hobbit next, but the Hobbit has that Smog set, man.
Lonely Mountain.
The mountain, what is it? Yeah. Erebor? The Lonely Mountain. Yeah.
I got 2 of them.
That set is so good. You got 2 of them? Nice. I just got the one back in the day, but yeah. Let's see. Jabber492 says, I would buy all those sets. I'm with you, man. I mean, I did
too. The only one I don't have is the Tower of Orthanc.
Yeah. Tower of Orthanc is probably the best one, but it's also, well, I don't know if best one. It's a lot of black bricks. It's just a stack of black bricks, but the interior is where you get the good stuff on that set.
Piece it together on Bricklink for sure.
Yeah, the only obnoxious thing is there are a decent amount of stickered panels and stuff inside that you just have to find a sticker sheet for it from Bricklink, which you might be able to, but or make your own. You're sitting there I'll just make my own.
Sticker sheets.
Just find the template basically. And just trace it on. They'd be better than the ones you get from Lego. Let's see. Duxbrick says, maybe there will be more Lord of the Rings sets with a new TV series. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen. Personally, I don't even think the series is going to do that well. But that's a whole other topic. I do not think Lego will pick up sets based on that, though. I really don't.
Yeah, it'd be great if
I'd
they
love
did,
it
but
if they did.
I don't know. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah, I don't know that it's got the momentum, and I don't know that I don't know the content of that show yet.
Yeah,
either. If it gets a little too much.
With my brother, he is also a fan, and it's just kind of we don't really know. It was based on characters only, and the TV show writers, the showrunners, are filling in story gaps. It's not actually written by Tolkien.
Well, and the worst part about it, and again, I don't want to go too far down this road, but the worst part about it is they market it as the story Tolkien never wrote. And I'm like, that is the worst
It
marketing to a Lord of the Rings
terrible.
fan. I'm like, I don't. So is the Wheel of Time. So is every other story that Tolkien never wrote. Like, why do I want this?
I mean,
one?
I agree. I mean, I'll be honest though. I mean, it's going to be close to Castle stuff if they did come out with any more, you know, for that series release, and I would have to buy them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I would buy them all too. I mean, because I know that you and I kind of differ on the opinions of the Hobbit movies. I am not as big a fan of them. Definitely as not a big a fan of Lord of the Rings, or just my experience with the book into the movie. I have my own issues there, but yeah. I bought every damn set from the Hobbit series because it had elves, it had dwarves, it had all the fantasy elements. It got dragons, I like and all gold, the Hobbit cities,
better than the Lord of the Rings, but I got them all, you know, except for the one.
Dude, don't tell me that. You like, come on, the Lord of the Rings is forget it. As long as we both are fans of both of them, we all got all the sets anyway.
I like to think myself as being an unofficial son of Durin, so I lean a little bit more towards the dwarf side than I do anything else.
I get that. I see that. I see that as being that makes sense from a perspective of really loving the characters and the dwarf culture and like all of the more the Viking
crafting, the jewels, the gems, the mining. Yeah,
sure. The mines,
so much better than,
I get
like,
it.
Eating leaves out in the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I just I see I did a lot of like movie, not critique because I wouldn't call myself a movie critic, but I really did get really involved in the process of movie making and different things like that. And so sometimes that gets inside my brain when I'm watching a movie, whether or not I think the cinematography or whatever it is, the technical terms and how the movie's put together. And it's like, I see a lot of things I really, really enjoy, not just in the story and the characters and the visuals of Lord of the Rings, but in the way it was made, as opposed to The Hobbit, where I think some of the creative choices and direction they went with creating the movie itself, I just don't like. And so that I think is more where I fall off the wagon.
We
on
should
the
probably
Hobbit,
have
as
a good
opposed to Lord
personal
of the Rings,
conversation about that, and I'll try not to call you too many names.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do that another time. We'll do it an exclusive interview. Foolin' with Brick says we were coming up with some really great scenes that from the movies that should have been made from the movies. Yeah, well, this is us just kind of filling the gaps that never got done. It's not
Lego.
It's true. Beasley Brick says, I almost hate finding Lord of the Rings or Hobbit characters in bulk lot because the torsos are always cracked.
Change the
so
to the yellow, because you start pulling the hands out, you're going to start cracking the bricks.
Got it. Okay, so that's what they must have been referencing to more.
Yeah, I'm not taking a chance.
I didn't realize that.
Like I said, I love the prints, but they'll stay in the Lord of the Rings minifig bag until I need them to come out again and say hello.
Yeah. I think I might have swapped a couple early on, but for the most part, mine are all 100% put together, and I wouldn't risk it. Yeah. Let's see. We got a couple more people joining. Hey guys, thanks for joining in. If you don't know already, we are deep in a discussion about the Lord of the Rings and more specifically the Fellowship of the Ring Lego sets.
We have
so that's what we're talking about tonight. So thank you for joining. Which out of the Fellowship of the Ring sets is 100% the best. One last comment before we jump onto that one. If it ain't kid focused, it ain't gonna do it. That's what Marty the Lego Party says. I think it was even more so even just a couple years ago. Now it's Lego's really jumping on the adults welcome scenario to the point where it's if you flip through the catalog, I feel like there's almost more $100 or $89.99 Lego sets than there are $29
which is good
Lego
because
sets.
most of the $29 Lego sets are complete crap nowadays.
I mean, yes, but that's not because they're $29 in my opinion. It's because they're not good themes. They're not of things I want. Not because they're cheaper. Because I mean, if we had a $29.99 Lego set of a battle wagon, or of a prison
Well, I mean,
wagon with like 5 Crusader Knights or something, I'd be all over that. Sure. So I agree that the more expensive price points definitely have more interesting things and are better builds. They have more to work with there, but it's getting wild, man. Like I was scrolling through, I was like, you know, if you're not doing all right,
I agree. I agree with the Lego Den. He just said City is just garbage these days. Yeah.
City? Yeah, I mean, City's weird. I don't want to talk about City. City Space is cool. I'll give them Space, but none of those sets were under $60.
No, I don't think so. I think were they? I think one was like $49. I don't know. I just told Crystal to order all of them. Put them all in cart.
Yeah, just like put them all in the cart. You know, that's a must. Yeah, they are really nice, really nice. They take what they did the year before, which is what I all got. I got them on sale at Target, so I was able to get the whole series. They take what they did there and they made it better. So what you got a hold of, the 4 that you got, they're nicer than the ones
you're talking
that
about the year before where it had the orange and stuff in it, right? Okay, I wanted those.
Yes.
But I couldn't financially pull the trigger because if there was more things that were more important at the time, you know. But the new one was like through the roof. I was like, I don't even care. We're not eating for the week if we have to. Yeah.
Get the credit card out. Yeah. Well, let's be honest, dude. Like, I mean, those ones the year before, it might be 2 years now. The City Space ones. They were nothing to laugh at.
I agree.
They were nice sets. Like, yeah. But if I compare them to the ones they just came out with, I liked some of the stuff they did with the new ones better. They took it to the moon. It's just, it feels more like Lego to me than the other ones. So I don't know. We said Beasley Brick says, beautiful figures, some of the best printing Legos ever done. I absolutely agree, but you can't play too hard with them. That is a bummer. Let's see. Brickature says, plus yellow figs don't look good with the orcs. I mean, you would have had to do something with the orcs if you did the yellow figs, but you could have just had all the humans in the. But didn't they? Because like when they did like Star Wars, they would have like tan and brown for some of the creatures.
All those wild,
but all the humans had
yellow been the same color. We're just talking about the human parts.
Or like, like Peeves in Harry Potter was like a gray ghost guy. Like they just changed the color of him, so the orcs probably would have been a gray or a dark gray color. Like I don't know. I don't hate what they did. Yeah. I'm just not a fleshy guy. I don't care. So. Let's see. Marty the Lego Party says, well, as a theme, I meant. Oh, what's he talking about? I might have missed something he said up here. He said, if it ain't kid focused, it ain't gonna do it as a theme. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah. So you're talking Lord of the Rings, probably, which is what we should have been talking. We should be talking about that too.
Oh, we've only
went off on City, but yeah, that's true. And I don't have like crazy amount of notes.
We should still jump into it.
And we have kind of. Oh, we will. But like we've already covered a decent amount of what I kind of wanted to cover about it. So let's get a couple comments and then we'll look at the last one because that is the best one here. Beasley Bricks. I'm gonna. We got something going in. City is just okay. So the Lego Den says City is garbage these days. We just had a conversation about City, and then Beasley Brick says, I'm going to disagree on the City comment. I got the crane, the picnic set, and the ice cream truck set, but to each their own. Okay, yeah. I think City is good. It's got good and bad. It's Lego City's so big, I think it kind of covers.
Yeah,
you get a lot of bad
sets in there next to like a couple of the modulars, and it looks better.
I agree. Yeah, you're gonna, considering what Lego's like, Lego City's like 30% of all Lego at this point.
Well, I mean, you take one of those little trucks that's got like 20 pieces on it, and then you throw it like delivering mail or something to like one of the modulars in your build, and it's all of a sudden not so bad. It's just another vehicle on the road, you know, creating more, cool texture to your build,
Yeah, it's what we talked about before. You get the Lego City people who have their tables, and that's awesome, and that's the way it does. And all of those city sets, regardless of the size or the amount of parts or even some of the designs, they still pick them up because they add to that, like exactly what you just said, the depth. And like, oh, I got an extra fire truck, I got another police car, I got a couple garbage trucks going on. Like, yeah, they just fill out the city with those. And it does give, you know, kids or people that don't have tons of cash to buy these heavy licensed themes something to pick up for $10, $12. Yeah. That's still fun to play with. So yes. I'm fine with City doing it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, as adult fans, obviously we're looking at the other stuff, but all right. Yeah, you want to pull up the last set here, man? The last one for the Fellowship of the Ring. Dude, the Mines of Moria. This thing is so good.
It's a great set. And I mean,
so here it is. If I can get it on.
Huge dwarf fan, like I would have loved to have seen like in visual form in the movies what the Mines of Moria was before it fell to the orcs. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, because we know what Erebor looks like in like the first like just couple minutes of the film, you know, when it was like flourishing, right? But yeah, I mean, this set is the only set that you get Boromir in.
Dude, it's the only set you get Moria goblins in too, and you only get 2 of them. Important. That is very true.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. I mean, they recreate the scenes from him throwing the axes right here. You got the skeleton you can knock down the well for the Fool of a Took moment. What is this? What's happening here? I can't even see it. Oh, that's them breaking the doors down with the troll. For some reason, they dumped a bunch of these dumb weapons in here. I think they just wanted to add those as texture, like extras, just having them scattered around the floor.
These weapons when they went in, it was like they were attacked right where they were.
Right. Well, what's unique about those weapons is they're more of a rubbery plastic, kind of like the new knives. They're not hard plastic, and they originated on a board game that Lego did called Heroica. And they were smaller. They didn't quite fit minifig scale. Like minifigs could pick them up, but they weren't really built in the minifig scale. Seemed like they were scaled down for those little micro figures for the game. So they may have been dumping a couple extra packages of those into these sets for that. But it does work well for them scattered. As you can see, you can kind of see them scattered on the ground, and it looks nice. So it does add the detail. Dude, that Boromir figure is so nice.
Yeah, so that shield print here. So some lady posted it on Facebook Marketplace for sale in Orlando, and you know, it was a set, no box, no instructions, but all the parts were there, no minifigs. So I was like, well, for $40, I'll take that. You know, so I bought it, had it mailed to me. And then I had to collect all the individual minifigs, and I don't have the big troll, and I have all the other ones. And Boromir was the last one, and I actually got it from a Bricks and Minifigs in Tampa because I put in my word. I was like, "Yo, I need a Boromir. Find one locally." You know what I'm saying? And they did, and they called me. They were like, "It's $15."
Get on it.
I was like, "I'll pay for it right now. I'll be there in an hour."
Wow. I mean, he's such a hard minifig to get a hold of. He's exclusive. I'm glad you,
man. And all the sets.
I'm glad you.
Try and find him.
I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't realize. I mean, I did realize at the time, but now that you're bringing it up again, obviously. But yeah, I didn't realize it. Yeah, he's exclusive to that set. I could have sworn he came on something else, but I mean, spoiler for those who haven't seen the movie, he dies at the end of it, so you're not going to make him into any of the other sets.
The other sets at all.
Sorry, guys. If you haven't seen Lord of the Rings by this point in your life, then
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you shouldn't be watching the stream. Yeah, so I guess here's the thing though. I mean, there were so many other scenes or shots they could have put him in that they didn't. Like the elven boats down the river before he meets his doom, you know, and that would have been a cool scene. 2 little like canoes with all the like
maybe
party and some nice little trees built up on a shoreline. Yeah. Well, the statues would have been awesome. That would have been a big set. But yeah, why not?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah. What's the Emun Hen, the seat where Aragorn finds Frodo when he's up on the winged like statues, and then he falls off. They could have had Boromir like next to that fighting orcs.
That could have been a great set to have Boromir, Frodo, Aragorn, and quite a few of the orcs.
Yeah, I would say like for a good price range, probably 4 to 5 Uruk-hai. Yeah, and that guy, because they never did. I don't think they ever did the guy with the big hair braid and the face print with the bow. I don't think you get him in Lego. Yeah, I really don't think you get a whole unless it's this guy. There is this guy called Lurtz. I don't know if is that supposed to be him? Maybe that's supposed to be him. He doesn't have a bow in this set though. You can't really see him. It's a bad shot, but it didn't really look quite like him, so I don't think I'd have to look that up and find out if that's his actual name or not. But so those are the sets, and we really did actually go quite in depth on some of our thoughts about not just the sets but the theme as well. Jump onto a couple of comments here. Good show, guys. Take care. Thanks for jumping in. The Lego Den, really appreciate you talking and adding to the stream. Thank you so much. Beasley Bricks says, straight up, didn't watch the movies until after I got married. Yeah, I didn't see them till a little later, but I did end up seeing them.
I've seen them so many times.
They were released. Yeah, dude. I mean, I will say, here's something. I've never seen the theatrical edition because I actually didn't get to see them in the theater. So I've only seen the extended, like 3-hour ones. I've never seen the
cut ones
theatrical
aren't nearly
cut
as
ones.
good. You get all the extra scenes.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I think I watched half of the Return of the King uncut, or cut for the theater, and I was like, "This is not right. Something's wrong here, real bad."
The cut ones weren't that great. The extended ones were awesome.
I mean, they still blew people's minds in the theater, but from what I understand, the cut one, it's like it went from good to phenomenal.
Back a few. Let's see, it's probably been about 8 years now. There was like a pirate torrent website where you could like download rip movies.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that was back in the day when I was like downloading torrent movies like all the time. Like that's how I got my movie gallery. I've got all of the Tolkien ones, including the Hobbits. Full extended versions of the the torrent download for digital MP4s, I think is what they are.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, dude, I remember those days. Pirates Bay, the whole works, man.
Yeah, that's
not
what
the
it
Lego,
was.
not the Lego Pirates Bay. Yeah, I didn't get too much into it, but I knew people who did.
I downloaded like 500 movies and all kinds of music and TV shows.
You were all over it. Getting the letter from not the IRS. What is the FBI? They send those out sometimes. They're like, "Hey, we noticed your IP was on this site too much. Just a warning." I've seen them before from other people.
I did want to mention on this live stream, the first live stream, and I'm going to probably mention it on each live stream that we do talk about the Lord of the Rings. There is a guy on YouTube. His name is Yoiston. And he's got a page called The Men of the West. And like basically he does a lot of reading from like Tolkien's like manuscripts and stuff like that. And I mean, you want to talk about something like if you're in the mood and you're building a castle or something, just put that on in the background and listen to it. It goes into all the deep lore of like all the houses of the dwarves, the elves, way back through the Silmarillion. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, just hours and hours and hours and hours of content to listen to. Awesome. Yiffy.
FYI, Pirates Bay. We got a fooling with Bricks. He said he did the same thing, Andrew. Looked up on them torrent movies. He also said, poor Sean Bean, I think the only thing he lived in was Sharp. Sharp. I don't know if you've seen the Sharps. The Sharp.
I don't know what that is.
TV show. Okay, it's a guy named Sharp, played by Sean Bean, and he's like a Napoleonic War style. I think I've seen most of the episodes, and he doesn't actually die in that TV show, because of course the meme is Sean Bean dies and everything, but which he almost does. Like, I don't see him live much, but I think he does survive. He gets shot, I think, several times in that show, but it's actually a pretty cool show. It's not like super highly produced because it's like, I think it's like HBO, or not HBO, A&E or BBC back a while ago when they didn't have as much production value, but they do a pretty good job for what they did. I enjoyed that show quite a bit. It's really a fun historical piece to watch. And each episode is called like Sharp's Revenge, Sharp's Commission, you know, different military terms for things back in the day.
I'll have to check it out.
It's pretty good. Yeah, if you like historical war drama from like the Revolutionary era, of course, pirates, kind of pirate age. You know, another one is a really good series is Horatio Hornblower. I don't know if you watched that one. I think it's an 8-part series done by BBC. That's another really good one about the Napoleonic Wars in England.
Yeah,
I'm
sure that there's quite a few of them out there that that I've missed or just haven't come across yet. But that's why we have all the platforms on our smart TV. We'll eventually get there.
That's true. You'll find it eventually.
Yeah,
you'll find it eventually. Let's talk real quick. Moving on, the parts, man. I mean, every single figure got new prints. There was a decent amount of stickers, but there was a good handful of printed parts as well. So the production value on these Lego sets for Lord of the Rings was as high as it's ever gotten for anything.
I think so, especially with them.
Yeah, so there's
shiny,
that.
High gloss boxes.
Yeah, the ones that
sell it before you even decide and see what it is.
Yeah. They sell themselves, these things. But let's see. For parts, I mean, there were so many. The One Ring, maybe one of the last metallic pieces we got, right? Because isn't that a metallic, like shiny metallic? Chrome.
Yeah.
Chrome. That's what I meant. Sorry, chrome. Yeah. Is that like one of the last chrome pieces? Because I think there might be one or two. I think like the last series of Castle, which actually we haven't talked about,
had gold ingots in it. I love those.
Which
I don't
awesome.
have enough.
But
I'm not paying $1 a piece for them on Bricklink.
Yeah. Right, neither am I. But yeah, so I think those came out after Lord of the Rings, so they had some chrome pieces on it. But yeah, the ring, so the One Ring was a new piece, a fantastic piece. I'm glad they decided to make a mold for that one.
There was no choice.
We had
to make the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
like there really wasn't a way to get around it. There was no... Yeah, dude. Well, every set came also, I don't know if you, noticed, but every set came with like 2 or 3 of them at least. I think it was. And I think it was at least 2 stings. Every time it came with Frodo's little sword sting, you got at least 2. Yeah. I have a handful of those for sure. So that was a new mold. Sting was a new mold. The long sword or the great sword, whatever you want to call it, this first came out on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the one with the point.
These guys right here. I think they did a good enough job portraying the swords of the heroes really well. The only thing I would have wished for on the swords was maybe Rohan's sword with the horse kind of shape on the hilt.
But they didn't really do any super customizable, swords, I guess, until, let's see, the Hobbit CMF that came out with the goblin from the bank has the sword of Gryffindor with the jewels like in the hilt and
yeah, the Harry Potter.
I had to get several of that guy because I needed that sword, dude.
I have 2 of those swords. I'd like
4 or 5.
A few more for sure.
They're not in my sword bin though. They're like still with the minifig in like a special container. Yeah.
So I mean, so I do appreciate, I mean, they did the elf sword. I think you showed it earlier. You can see it here too, right? The long, like, handled elf blade. Yeah. It's not really a sword, but it's a blade. They did a mold for that. They did a mold for Sting. And then they kind of were like, the rest of the heroes get their long swords. We're not going to do molds unique for each hero, which is fair. I mean, that gets a little too crazy, I guess. But there was the new helmets, swords, and shields. Oh, right, they did a new mold for the orc swords as well. So all of the orc armor is new, brand new molds for all of that. They look absolutely phenomenal. The Uruk-hai helmets, shields,
they're
I love
cool.
those.
I keep them all separate from my regular castle because I don't know, those blades that they use. I'm trying to get one out. These blades that they use.
Yeah.
These here. Yeah, the big ones.
The orc blades.
I don't like them.
Yeah. Well,
they do,
but they
look
exactly like the ones from the movie. Oh, sure. Okay. Fair enough. You know what I missed, though? I'm bummed they didn't do the Berserker one from, which we can talk about when we get to part 2, but the Helm's Deep where he goes on the wall and swings it and it's got the double points on it. They didn't do one for that. They did the minifig, they just don't have his sword. So I give him a Lego pickaxe.
You could probably,
because it's got the 2 pokes on
it. Pretty cool one. Because, let's see, in The Hobbit, they did a lot of building for the hammers and the clubs.
Yeah, you could probably now, especially with whether you like Ninjago or not, they do have those weapons packs that come with a bunch of different attachments, so you can build your own weapons with those too. So you might be able to pull something off with some spikes or something, from those. I could see that working out pretty well. I haven't gone back to doing Lord of the Rings in a while, but I'd like to build all my sets at some point. And
you need a lot of
put them together like that. That'd be cool.
There's a lot of them.
Space? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Let's see. The articulated horses came out with Lord of the Rings. This was the first time they showed up.
Something that I realized
in 2012
the other day is that horse mold actually, you can put the classic horse barding on them. Yeah, you just can't.
You just can't have them rear with. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I'm glad they kept that compatibility.
Yeah, because I got
that would suck if you couldn't do
castle, then I need to put the classic lion barding on a bunch of new horses.
Yeah, for that castle you got going on in the background. Actually, Duck's Bricks mentioned that the horses were for this theme. The articulated ones we're talking about. He mentioned that way earlier in the stream. I saw his comment on that. Let's see. So that's a new part that came out on here. You got all the health. We already talked about the elf ears molded into all the molded hair pieces. Almost every single minifig got their own either hair piece or helmet. The cave troll, which we just saw. I'll bring him up one more time. He's a big fig, exclusively molded for the Lord of the Rings with all the correct coloring and printing and everything on him.
There's only one of him.
And Gollum, which he's not in the Fellowship of the Ring, but he does come in later, and he was his own mold as well. Which
creepy little thing.
And then all of the creepy little guy for sure, and all of the Rohan helmets look phenomenal.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
And those are all
you couldn't get buy all the sets and have 20 or 30 of those. I mean, there was only a couple of sets.
Well, let's talk about
where you
that.
could get those.
There was 2, I think, and so let's talk about a couple of the issues we have with the theme. Obviously, hero heavy. They were more hero heavy than almost any licensed product, to the point where, like you just mentioned, there was actually only one Lego set in this whole theme where you could get a soldier that was a human soldier that wasn't a hero. One set out of every single set in the theme. And he's a Rohan archer, and he's on the little battle pack set with the wall. Every other theme, it's either an elf. I think there was 1 or 2 elves that were kind of extras. The bad guys had a bunch of orcs, but every other set was a hero.
In the Hobbit, it was the Lake Town polybag guy.
Right, but you could well, and they had I think they had a polybag elf guy too.
Yeah.
Like a woodland elf, or
was not like
Mirkwood elf. No, he was just a dude with the green shirt and the little bow and everything. Yeah, so you could build an army. Well, I mean, they also had to get into the Hobbit. They also had the Mirkwood battle with the wargs and the elves on the wall. which you could get like 2 or 3 elves and then like 2 orcs and like a warg. Like that was a battle pack. You buy 3 or 4 of those, you got a whole little army of elves and orcs. They did not do that with Lord of the Rings here. So that was a bummer. Yeah, and I 100% agree. Like that helmet only came on one dude, and then Éomer had I think he had a printed one, and then the king, Theoden, had a printed one, and it was a brown one. So you can only get that plain Rohan helmet on just that one dude. I'm pretty sure.
It's like
so that's a bummer. Yeah,
that Rohan helmet, man. It's like a mix between like a 14th century medieval castle and like a Trojan, like the Roman era. It was like a mix of the two.
Yeah,
it is.
It's such a nice
very
helmet,
expensive.
Dude. It looks so good
to buy them in.
Yeah. I don't have a photo of it, and since it's technically from the Two Towers, we can bring those up. I'll get the boxes.
Two Towers.
Yeah, when we get the part 2 of Lord of the Rings. But so that's a big problem. It was a lot of heroes, which is nice to get a hold of. But man, like when you have 3 or 4 Gimlis and you have 1 foot soldier in a Lord of the Rings theme where you're supposed to have battles and armies protecting fortresses and things like that, it just gets kind of difficult.
To be told, there was only really 1 dwarf in all of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
there was
that's
like
true.
2 or 3 of them. There was 2 or 3 of them that showed up at the Council of Elrond with Gimli, and then they left. We didn't even know their name.
And then it shows them at the like intro scene getting their rings, and I guess it shows a bunch of dead ones and more
during that whole series. That's why I love The Hobbit so much more, is because it went straight to hell down in the mountain, you know, and you got all kinds of dwarf lords, and you know that was my scene.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. Let's see. Barry says Lord of the Rings battle packs. Yeah, I mean 100%, and it may have become that because Star Wars got it. Even Harry Potter now has those. If it was a theme that took off to the point where people were just buying them up and it was really, really doing well and they just kept producing, we may have gotten an orc battle pack. We may have gotten elves or even like Gondorian soldier battle packs and things like that. But that never was.
I mean,
that never was to be.
I would have probably had to buy those at marked up price because I didn't start buying until 2014. And those sets, all the Lord of the Rings sets were already out. So I was on the hunt for a lot of them.
Okay, so they were kind of tapering off because you started getting back into Lego when the Hobbit was. Sure, was that towards even the end of the Hobbit though? Okay, so some of the first wave of sets from Lord of the Rings had kind of faded out already.
But you know, you could always get the wizard battle. Well, you could get the wizard battle everywhere.
Wizard battle was stacked up at Ross and TJ Maxx for half price somewhere.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then, I think we touched on this earlier about the theme being cut off at the knees, really, is what happened to it. Really feeling like the trajectory was preparing for, like, multiple sets in every part of the land and, like, really going to focus in. And that's why they maybe didn't include some very iconic figures in these few waves of sets that we did get, because I assume they were planning to put them in later sets that just got canceled or they just never went full with it. I don't know. They were kind of expensive, and maybe that was part of the reason they didn't do as. I think they did fine, but I don't know that they did like phenomenally well.
I don't know. Sales. I mean, like I said, I was coming in at the end, and Toys R Us had quite a few of them still of each set, even for the longest time, you know. And I actually bought multiples of a couple of them from Toys R Us at retail.
Yeah. At retail. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was working at Lego at the time these were in stock. We sold plenty of them, but it did seem like we kind of sold a few of, like a lot of 1 or 2, and then a few of the other ones. Like, I think the Orc Forge is a good example of one we sold a ton of, just always off the shelves. But then the rest of them, especially sets like Weathertop, weren't really selling as hot. So I'm not sure if that contributed to it, but it does feel like there was a decision made halfway through or towards the end of the first wave where they're like, just push out the last 5 sets for the last wave and cancel it. I really do think it got canceled. I don't have any confirmation, but I do believe it was canceled. It may have been. Because
it may have been canceled.
Go ahead. Yeah. Well, just to the point that like you don't make a Lord of the Rings theme and not include Éowyn and the Balrog. Like those do not exist, or Faramir. These aren't just like side characters. These were main characters from the main storyline.
Yeah.
Like big time characters. None of them. No Oliphants. None of the West.
Which
set
Easterlings with Theoden?
None of those. Helm's Deep.
Theoden
they did do Helm's Deep, and you got Theoden.
Huh.
Yeah, but he also should have come in a set where his horse was underneath one of the fell beasts, and the Witch King, who you also don't get, was on top of him with Éowyn fighting him. That should have been a Lego set and never was made. That 100% should have been a Lego set. So that's where I'm like, okay, no Balrog, nothing from Gondor. The only thing you get from Gondor is Aragorn's chest print from like the final set. He's got a little tree on it from Gondor. That's the only reference to Gondor in all of Lord of the Rings.
I want to say it's on a navy blue.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Navy blue, dark blue. Yeah, with the tunic and his the white tree of Gondor.
I swear, I must have another bag of minifigs for Lord of the Rings somewhere. I cannot find any of them, and they're all right here in front of me. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, oh, cool. Yeah, let's take a look at that guy. There you go. Yep. So that's the only reference to Gondor you get in all of Lord of the Rings Lego sets from as much as I can remember, which is insane. I mean, Gondor is Gondor. It's like where half of more than half of the movie happens in the last movie. Like, and it's referenced and I think even shown in every movie.
Second to the last scene of that
multiple
movie
times.
That's Gondor.
Yeah. So the fact we didn't even get I'm not saying they should have done a massive 10,000 piece city. I would have loved that, but they didn't need to do that. They could have done, a set battle at Gondor's gate with a gatehouse and a couple white walls and the battering ram. Done. Maybe have a keep next to it. You could clip onto it, Citadel or the White Tree or something. I don't know. They could have gotten around doing the whole city by just doing a couple close-in shots. It's wild, man. I don't understand what happened there, but Balrog, they didn't do the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. That should have been a set with the Balrog and Gandalf. Like, not even thought of. Not done at all. I ended up buying, which I don't do this very often, but I did buy custom prints of Éowyn and
I remember you saying
Faramir from Firestar Customs. Yeah, and I was going to grab them to show you guys because they look exactly like the ones that Lego would have done. They did them in the same exact color scheme and the same detail. So they look great. I'm sad, though, that they didn't come in Lego sets. What's really cool is, the CMS Viking Viking set with that helmet? I put that on Éowyn.
I'm sure that it does. Perfect. That is a perfect helmet. You know what's crazy is I don't even have one of those. It looks amazing.
It looks exactly like the movie.
I don't have that minifig.
What? That's like your minifig. That should be your sitting fig, bro.
Why? I'm not sure why. I mean, I'll eventually get some because I do love that minifig. I love the colors on it and the print and the red beard and the whole bit. Yeah, I love it.
Beautiful. Yeah. So that's about. I mean, we're coming to the end here. That was great, man. I really like talking about it. There was so much cool stuff to talk about. There's so much more to talk about. But that's a good overview of the Fellowship of the Ring Lego sets. I'm glad we were able to bring the boxes up to show you guys. I will mention quickly they did do a video game, and it does have everything in it. They even did big figs for the Balrog, molded and printed in the video game, animated. It looks great. They have Bree. They've got the Buckleberry Fairy. They've got everything from the books and the movies is in that video game. And it's it almost is like a salt on the wound to play that video game.
I haven't played it, but I've watched people like live streaming on Twitch playing the game. It looks super cool. Yeah. I just don't have the time to invest.
Neither do I. You know, not anymore. I played it years ago, and I never even actually played through the whole thing. But the parts I did play through, amazing, fun game. It was kind of hurt, man, to see Lego Gondor in the game and not get any.
I mean, you see the whole inside of Aragorn
from it, like
in the game,
in the Hobbit game. Yeah. So the video games really, and that's true with all Lego video games. I mean, Star Wars the same way, Pirates of the Caribbean same way. They show more and they build more in those games than they do in the sets, and there's reasons for that. But yeah, it was a rough play for a while there because I'm like, dude, the first scene in the game is you fighting the elephants from the east and all of that whole battle because it like does a flashback thing for the beginning of the game. Yeah. And it's amazing. I was like, why are these not in?
Jason, you gotta take into consideration too. Like we've both designed, you know, our own sets, and going through that process of building something like that and then creating the instructions and having the right parts is a task. You know, and you really, like, when you're talking about Lego should have done this, well, they should have had another 20 or 30 people on staff during that design process.
Possibly. I see where you're coming from. In the same breath, though, or the same idea of you presenting that, it's ironic that Lego couldn't pull it off, but we can.
As a side job?
What? As a side thing, I clock in 8 hours a day, and then I roll onto the computer, clock in another 4, doing my own designs, my own PDFs, and like it's like I'm one dude, like I'm one person, and Lego couldn't have built us a set with Eowyn and the Witch King. Like I just don't get it. I was like, where were your guy? Like what? Yeah, and maybe I don't have a good grasp of how the Lego business works, and that's fine. But like I feel like a lot of it.
Well, you've built them.
Didn't do. I don't know.
You've designed them. You've made instructions. I mean, what else is there to not understand?
You know, like their whole marketing team, right? There's like a ton under the surface that I think is really weird. I get like, you know, production issues being what they are, but it's like they're a massive company. They are the biggest building block toy company in the world now. Do they not have the manpower?
Well, they clearly don't have the manpower to put my orders in boxes and ship them to me.
Well, and you know, that's the thing. I guess my curiosity is there's alternate brick companies like the one we just mentioned earlier who does the accessories. There's you who do the wall signs and the stickers. There's me who does alternate instructions. But then there's other small companies who do their own sets and all of this other stuff. And you know, I mean, they go all the way. They have weapons packs, minifig packs, pretty much anything you can think of, they do it. I found a alternate brick company who does train stuff, and they have every accessory you'd need to do a whole Lego train setup. It's like, why isn't Lego just jumping on that and doing it? Why isn't that happening with Lego? When a company that's 1,000 times smaller than Lego with a million times less capital to invest into new projects and 10,000 times more risk involved is successfully providing this for their customer base. I just don't understand. It's weird. So that's my rant on what the heck Lego production. But yeah, anyway, not to get all sidetracked on that, but I like how you did a shout out to that YouTube channel. Could you mention that one more time?
Men of the West. And you'll know if you're on the right one because the intro is Men of the West. And the guy's name that's talking, his name is Yoyston. So it's very, very good. Okay. Jason, take my advice on this. When you're building or you're just at the computer and you're designing something castle, just pop that on and start listening to it. It's basically the lore behind the scenes of everything Lord of the Rings.
Nice. I'm excited to know about that. Yeah. because I love listening to stuff while I'm designing, building, even when I'm at work doing my other job. I'll listen to things in the background. So that's awesome. I like that. I like doing community shout outs. That's kind of what I wrote it down here. I was like, we should do this more often, and maybe we can try to do this more, because there's two other people I wanted to shout out. One, Brotherhood Workshop has done really, really skillful stop motion animation, like parody videos with all of the Lord of the Rings figures from Lego. To the point where I think he was even hired by Lego to do a promotional for the Hobbit. Those. And it played. Okay, so check that guy out, Brotherhood Workshop on YouTube. He's got a channel, and I really enjoyed a lot of his videos. And then there's a guy on Instagram who's called Lego Mock Lock, MOCLOC. And what he's done is basically what we're talking about. He's filled in all of the gaps missing from Lego sets for Lord of the Rings. So he's done the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. He's done Amonhen. He's done all of them. And he, just kind of like I do, where I put the minifigs, like, this is what you would get if you bought the set. And he's done the box art. And, some of them I think are really good. Some of them I'm not as interested in. But he did like a 10,000 piece Rivendell. And he built it physically. Yeah, and he's got a Patreon. He sells his instructions.
And I know that Rivendell looks a lot better than the other Rivendell.
I know you brought up that other Rivendell, but yeah, his is very movie accurate. He did Edoras, the big golden hall
I've
of
seen that
Rohan.
build. That build is phenomenal.
Yeah,
very nice.
It's nice. So check his page out. That's Lego Mock Lock. If you're interested, I mean, he's even got a Patreon. He's doing his thing. He's making the grind happen, and I appreciate that. I like to see that in the community. So go support him. However, if it's just a follow, go for it. Buy an instruction book. Check it out. He's trying to create his own custom sets physically. So he's slowly kind of putting his own library together. But he has hundreds of, or probably 50, 60 PDFs and digital builds he's got out there. So check that guy out too. So. Yeah, he's on it, man. And, I don't know if he's got a full-time job like us or not, but if he doesn't, then he's going. But if he does, man, that's crazy. So he's really putting in the work. But yeah, man, that's about it. That's all I got. That's the community shout out. Go check all those people out we just mentioned at the end here. I'm going to grab the last few comments and then we'll call it. True North Brick says, played the whole video game late nights with my son, even when my son was born, and it was totally salt on the wound seeing all that could have been. Dude, I'm with you, man. I felt that pain. I didn't even finish the game. I don't know if it was subconsciously I just couldn't do it, or I just got busy. Probably both. And then Fooling with Bricks here at the end says, Lego marketing team's lame. I would love to know, let's see, what they were playing at. Yeah, there's researching to detail what the fans want is 0. Yeah, so basically what you're saying is some of the market research they do is trash, which I agree with. That's where you get themes like video. That was horrible, and they canceled that. Did they cancel it? It just did. It got canceled, yeah. I mean, they said it wasn't canceled. Well, no, they did actually say it was canceled. They said, we're going to produce the last ones we had, but we're not continuing it like we planned. They're like, we're done. Sorry, we didn't do enough research. I'm like, you did way too much research. That's what happened. You were researching things that we don't even think about as fans.
It was the first year of Lego Masters that was on, and it came on right after what's that show that was on right before it? It was Masked Singer or something like that.
Yeah, because they even had that figure, the llama dude. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, like, when I was watching
they just jumped on a trend they thought was
Masters,
going to...
I would be like, no, mute that crap. I don't really want to listen to any of
that. Yeah, no, I didn't enjoy it at all. I mean, I get... look, I'm not going to be tone deaf to people saying this wasn't marketed for you. I can hear that, and I understand that. But I don't think it was marketed to anybody because no one liked it. Not even the kids it was marketed to. Yeah. So
kids look at it and say,
I'll be the first to say,
that?
Look,
Where's my boat? Where's my airplane, my helicopter, my castle, my pirate ship?
Yeah. So I'm not sure what happened there, but hey, Robert Atterbury, thank you. He says, have a good night. Researching their own. Yeah. They're doing their own research. I don't know what's going on with them. Yeah. I think we're talking about the marketing research Lego does. Let's see. And then seen a lot of the Brotherhood Workshop, True North Brick says, and loved them. Good shout out. Thanks. Yeah, I thought of them as soon as we talked about Lord of the Rings. I was like, you gotta check their stuff out on YouTube. Yeah, man. So yeah, going back into marketing. I mean, I actually let's not go back into that. We already know.
Have a good night,
I don't know what's going on. Great stream, lads. Yeah. Have a great night, everyone. Yeah, dude, get some sleep. Appreciate you jumping on. Great live, guys. Have a good one as well. You as well. Brickature, I believe is how you say that. I hope that's how you say it.
Cool.
Brickatexture. Okay, there you go. I was saying it wrong. It's a good name. I just couldn't figure my brain wasn't connecting the dots there.
We all like to watch you fumble around for a minute.
All right, man. I know. Part of the entertainment value, right?
Yeah.
Sure. It's gotta happen. Well, dude, I mean, that was, oh, look, I can zoom. I didn't, yeah, there you go, zoom in. Well, that's it, man. Yeah, it looks like we're kind of wrapping it up. So have a great night, man. We, again, forgot to talk about what we wanted to talk about next time. But we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to think about it, I guess.
Next week.
Right?
Tune in next week to find out.
Monday morning.
Tune in next time.
Right.
Tune in next time to find out what's happening at Let's Talk About Lego.
All right, man. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night. All right, thanks. It was a joy talking about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Have a good one.